All right. So today's the last day before the ATF new rule takes place tomorrow. There's been a lot said about what you can do to remedy the situation if you have an arm brace pistol that, as of tomorrow, will be considered an SBR. For me, man, I'm going a little different route. So I'm not registering. I'm not going to comply with the registration. Here's my thing with the registration: if you register your AR-15 pistol or your AK pistol or whatever you have, if you register it and 6 months from now or a year from now, a court says that the ATF was unlawful in making that rule, that registered firearm that you now have is NFA compliant will always, they're not going to take that off the list. It's always going to be an NFA item, right? So you go to transfer it or you go to sell it, now it's an NFA item. They got to go through the process to do that. The ATF has record of what you have as an NFA item, although it started as something that you could go walk into a gun store and purchase without having an NFA tax stamp. That tax stamp's not going to go away. So I chose not to register. The next option is to remove it, right? They've said that you can remove the arm brace from the receiver, from the buffer tube, right? Just take the arm brace off. And Stephen Dettelbach, the director of the ATF, says that if you separate the arm brace from the pistol, or SBR, whatever, you separate the firearm from the arm brace, then you're compliant. The ATF says that that's not true. You cannot just separate them both because because then you have intent to put you could have intent to put it back together. So if I kept the gun in my vault and kept the brace somewhere else, I have constructive intent. I could put the two back together and then have an SBR. So the director of the ATF says one thing, the agency itself says something else. So I'm not going to do this route. I'm not going to just take the arm braces off. Here's the next problem with that. Inside the new rule, it talks about having the diameter of the buffer tube be of which the rifle can still be shouldered, or what they consider to be a rifle can be shouldered with the buffer tube because of the diameter of the tube. So some guys are saying, well, just take the brace off. But in the rule, it talks about the diameter of the tube, and you can still shoulder the pistol, or SBR, as the ATF is calling it, because of the diameter of the tube. So, but they haven't specified what the diameter is allowed to be. They haven't said, well, this diameter is okay, but this diameter is not. So just taking the brace off may not be legal, or you could still, be charged with having an SBR if the buffer tube diameter is large enough. So for me, what I am doing, and this doesn't have to be for everybody. I know I'm in a little bit different situation because I have a lot of different options, right? But for me, I think the safest route to go is I am going to I'm going to take the lower receivers and I'm going to get rid of them, and I'm going to keep I'm going to keep my complete uppers. That's what I'm going to do. What is right for you doesn't have to be right for everyone. Here's a Daniel Defense Mark 18. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to disconnect the lower receiver from the upper. That way, and when I say disconnect, I'm not only disconnecting them, I'm getting rid of them. So I will separate the lowers and the uppers, and I will keep the upper, and I will get rid of the lower. Wilson Combat, man, this is sad, right? This is a sad day when for 10 years and a decade we have been allowed to purchase these. These have been completely legal, and all of a sudden, overnight, they're no longer allowed. Here's an Aero Precision PCC pistol caliber carbine. Has the arm brace on it. Now, if you look at this gun, just for instance, the Daniel Defense is the same way. The Wilson Combat. These are high-end. This is high-end stuff. This is stuff that I've spent. I'm not wealthy. I don't have a lot of money. My passion is firearms. I've spent tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in firearms. And this one has a custom paint job. That's going to go real good with something else. It's just madness, man. It's madness that we've come to a point in time when three-letter agencies now create law, branches of the executive branch, factions of the executive branch, fall under direction of the president. The ATF is not the legislator, but yet the ATF is allowed to create law. And inside of creating law, it turns millions of Americans, millions upon millions. The estimates are up to 40 million Americans will be felons or could be felons tomorrow because they have these. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. And you know what? I'm going to say something here that not a lot of people are saying. There's probably some. I haven't heard it a bunch. But to all you police officers, to all you ATF agents, to all you FBI agents, to all you local, city, state, municipality law enforcement officers, you took an oath. You took an oath to the Constitution. You did not take an oath to your agency. If you're an ATF agent, the oath that you swore to protect the Constitution was to the Constitution, not to the ATF. I've seen videos of ATF agents going to people's houses and asking for, whether it be FRT triggers, and I'm sure starting tomorrow, we'll start seeing ATF agents knocking on doors, asking people to search their homes for arm-braced pistols that were legal today but not legal tomorrow. We'll see ATF agents knocking on doors. And you know, for years people have said, well, the corruption in the FBI is at the highest levels. The line guys, the actual field agents, man, they're just doing their job. No, man, I don't agree with that. And I was a police officer. Most of my adult life, I was a police officer. Sitting where I sit today, I will tell you it is my belief that not only the guys at the top that are enacting these new policies, but the line officers that are going door to door. You know, Adolf Hitler never started the oven, right? He never went to one of these camps and fired up the oven that killed millions of people, right? That was the guys that were at these POW camps, these prisoner camps, these German soldiers that were killing people, but Adolf Hitler got blamed for it. What about the soldiers that? What about the Nazi soldiers that were walking people to the ovens, right? That's kind of where I see the ATF at this point. The guys that are going door to door, the guys who took the oath to protect the Constitution, that are now searching for Americans to put in prison for no other reason than a political agenda. Man, look, you are as much at fault as the dudes who wrote this policy or writing these illegal policies, these unconstitutional, unlawful policies. The people who are putting the pen to pad, you are just as liable, in my opinion, because you're enforcing that unconstitutional, unlawful order. That new rule is unconstitutional. If you enforce it, then you have violated your oath to protect the Constitution. And shame on you. Your parents should be ashamed of you. Your kids should be ashamed of you. I'm ashamed of you. American citizens are ashamed of you. And I think that's the biggest disgrace of all. The guys that are putting pen to paper, we expect them to be corrupt. The dudes that are just graduating college and think they're going to go into the ATF and do something good for their country. Now your job is to put lawful Americans in jail. Congratulations. If you follow through, if you do that, shame on you.